Episode 11 of Stargirl is called Shining Knight, and Justin gets a lot of screen time in the episode. But make no mistake, this episode should have been called Sam Curtis, because the real memorable moments in the episode involve finding out whether or not Courtney's father really was Starman, and the emotional moments that come out of it. Hello everyone, I'm DanTheMan, and this is my review of episode 11 of Stargirl. We start out this video with Sir Justin looking at horses, which as we saw was a tie to his past, and to be honest, when I first saw the horses running in that field, I thought we were actually going to get to see the medieval times. For anyone not familiar with the character, which is probably the majority since the most popular fan theories from people who didn't read the comics were things like Justin being our man, or even Courtney's real father, but in the comics, Sir Justin is also known as the Shining Knight. It was a time-displaced hero from King Arthur's time, where he served as one of the Knights of the Round Table, who after being trapped and frozen in an avalanche, found himself awakened centuries later in the US in the 1940s, where he fought crime as a superhero, and eventually became the leader of the Seven Soldiers of Victory. In the Stars and Stripe comic, he did, like in the show, find himself losing his memory at the hands of Dragon King, before regaining it and joining Courtney and Pat to defeat Dragon King and get his revenge. Mark Ashworth gave a great performance in this episode, doing justice to the character of Sir Justin with the right amount of sympathy, likability, and nobility to the situation. His scene with Pat, Yolanda, and Rick was very emotional and well done by the cast, both with Pat and Justin's bond being apparent, and the actors who played Rick and Beth doing a great job at showing confusion at the situation unfolding before them. I do want to note I'm pretty sure Sir Justin's sword, while enchanted, was not Excalibur in the comics. I assume they made it that in the show to give an immediate connection to the audience, and to Rick and Beth of him being from King Arthur's time, which here was left somewhat unclear if he truly was from the past or just thought he was. I guess that was done in case casual fans didn't want to embrace too much fantastic elements from the comics, although they obviously did leave it open for them to go back to that in a future episode if they'd like to, possibly in season 2 if he sticks around. We also saw that Brainwave now remembers everything, including who Stargirl really is. Icicle showed some signs of not being as far gone as Brainwave, with his reluctance to kill Courtney and Barbara, although it should be noted that his reluctance was pretty much entirely from him having feelings for Barbara, and if it had been anyone else, he likely wouldn't have hesitated to kill them all. And then, once he saw Barbara knew who he was, or at least was just starting to suspect who he was fine with killing them all, including Mike, who is an innocent in all this, and he doesn't even know what's really going on. Then we saw the big moment of the episode. Sam Curtis finally shows up, and as many had guessed, or possibly knew if they read the comics, Sam was not an alias for Sylvester Pemberton. He was just a normal guy who abandoned his family because basically, he's a scumbag. The storyline with Courtney and her father played out largely the same as in the comics. In fact, the scene of him asking for the locket was almost shot for shot taken right from the comics, right down to the leaf falling down. Pat didn't hit him in the comics, which is lucky for Sam, since comic book Pat is much more jacked than Luke Wilson, and Sam probably would have spent the money he got selling those lockets paying hospital bills if Sam had hit him there. Courtney also goes through a crisis of faith, because if the roller coaster Sam put her through wasn't bad enough, she now realizes she was never Starman's daughter, which was made worse as she put her family and friends in a lot of danger under the assumption she was avenging her father. Of course, if she hadn't done that, there'd be no one to stand against the Injustice Society right now, and half of the country would be doomed, but in that moment she didn't see that. I also like the scene with the rest of the Justice Society members, who weren't even fazed finding out Courtney wasn't Starman's daughter. They see the hero Courtney was and what she's done, and whether her hero was a champion of the world or a scumbag con artist wasn't relevant to the three of them, and it shouldn't have been. And with help of Pat, the person who in the end truly is Courtney's father, as Sam in reality is little more than a sperm donor at best, helps Courtney through it and helps her see what everyone else already does. That it's Courtney who's the hero they need, and the one who can lead them to stopping the Injustice Society's plans for good. The next two episodes are a two-parter as the JSA finally sets out to face down the ISA. I assume they'll defeat them, and like most superhero shows these days, we'll get another big bad next season. In fact, it's been heavily hinted that it's going to be Shade. But I do wonder if they might tweak that formula some this time. I don't expect the ISA to succeed or anything, but given the small town setting, if all of them are defeated and detained, the show might struggle to justify a whole new crop of villains showing up in the exact same small town in Nebraska. But either way, I can't wait to find out. Thanks for watching. I'm DanTheMan, and I'll see you next time.